Hey everyone, Mike on Monday coming to you, trying to sneak this field shot in before the rain's hitting, but it's starting already. Anyhow, as the fall here continues to challenge us on weather, when it comes to the manure, if you're having to change where and how much your manure rates and where the manure is going, make sure you get that update to the nutrient management planner that you're working with. The other thing that you probably want to consider getting done for sure is getting a sample of manure this year. With all the additional water that your pits are collecting, that's going to dilute out some of the nutrients that are in there, so the rates are going to change a little bit again with the amount of water that you're adding to the pits this year from the rainfall, etc. So talk to any of us here at Country Visions about getting some sample containers for getting manure sampled so that you have the right knowledge and nutrients in that nutrient management plan. The main thing I wanted to talk a little bit about today was white mold. As you're getting out into the fields, getting some combining done, and I know it varied quite a bit yesterday. Right along the lakeshore, as an example, at 12:30 the fog rolled in and you couldn't see an eighth of a mile, and just going inland a short ways, it was 60 and sunny and whatnot. So a wide variety of weather still hitting us. So some folks did get a bunch of combining done, and the questions were, what are we going to do about this white mold? A number of scenarios that you can consider. One, if you want to take action now, it might be a product like called Contains. That's something that can be put on the ground now and work on. It's a biological scenario that it's a material that eats up some of that white mold. We used it in the answer plot up in Chilton a couple of years ago after some heavy white mold pockets were breaking out, and it created a lot more consistency in those plots, a lot less white mold. So call your Country Visions agronomist if that's something that you'd like to consider. Basically, I'd point in the direction those fields that are just consistently very challenging on the white mold side. The folks over at Malone did some work on white mold, and they took a different management style to it, being we changed population out there. So using 140,000 as the high population at harvest, versus 80 to 100,000 population for the low end, they had a 30 bushel swing in that heavy white mold pressure area. A little less seed, so a little less expense, and you maintained a better yield through there. Now, I'm not saying that we broke records with yield, but it's about managing those fields, making sure that we're getting the best return for you out there. So again, population, row width, as well as, yes, this was the product they used is well known for having very good white mold tolerance, I'll call it, because resistance really does not exist out there. Basically, it's how high of a tolerance level can you have. And as I've talked in the past, the different ratings that you see coming from different companies are based on their own information within their companies primarily. So it's who's very good at figuring out who's got a white mold package. Again, talk to your Country Visions agronomists. We handle a wide range of seed companies, so we have the knowledge and have tested which ones are doing well. So if you got questions on the genetic side of it. Lastly, in the white mold category, I did use a seed treatment for one grower. He's my historic high white mold problem. We didn't want to use Contains as of yet, but that might be something we look at in the future. Again, I've been positioning the best genetics with the highest white mold tolerance out there, along with the seed treatment. We manipulated a little bit of population this year, along with the seed treatment. And last week, I went out with a couple of my colleagues and we surveyed a lot of soybeans fields just to see where are we at, what do we see. And in that case, where we put on this seed treatment, we have some pretty good results on that as well. No yields as of yet. We didn't do a comparison, but looking at the fields that consistently give us issues, we're clean. So we're in good shape on that side of it. I did grab a couple of samples out of this one particular field. And I just wanted to show you, here's a scenario of the product where we had higher white mold incidence in it. Here's a quick sample of what that bean looks like when it's not in white mold. What you could see is that it did tolerate some of the white mold to a degree. Again, we don't have resistance. If we open up the pod, we see that we're going to find some smaller beans in here. Yep, they are nothing close to what you're going to get over on where we don't have the pressure. But you know, that this happens to be a scenario of we've got some tolerance in there, that we didn't lose all the yield, but we definitely have lost some of the yield. These little black turds that you'll find out there too is part of the future problem of the white mold, meaning that that sclerotia is the seed, or excuse me, yeah, the seed for the future, if I can call it that way, for the white mold. Again, smaller seeds there. The plant held up to a degree. This happens to be a case of where it came in a little bit later. That's how we got the white mold came in a little bit later. Again, that's part of the tolerance of the plant as well as the environment we were growing in. Again, there are management tools available to us. If you got any questions on white mold and how to manage through that, feel free to give us at Country Visions a call. For the folks on the lakeshore, we tend to have more of a white mold issue that we fight with, so we focus on that disease and what seed treatments to use there, versus maybe inland where maybe it's SDS that you're dealing with. But again, make sure you're using the right tool for the issue that you're dealing with. So a white mold product isn't necessarily going to help you with SDS. SDS product that helps you, a product that helps you with SDS isn't necessarily going to be a white mold management tool for you. So it's, again, right tool for the right job. With that, the rain is starting to pick up. I know we got a bunch done. Take a break, fix all that equipment, and we'll get back in the field as soon as we can. With that, have a safe week. We'll talk to you next week.